Hi, it's Jeff Gelman of Solid Canine Training. I've been getting a lot of requests on how to start your dog on remote collar training. Remote collar training, we do low-level remote collar training. We're not shocking dogs to get them to listen to us. Maybe somebody is out there. We don't do that at all. The way we train on remote collars, we can guarantee 100% recall. Off-leash, high levels of distraction. This is a dog that's never had a remote collar on. This dog came into my kennel actually last night at 9 p.m. So it's been here for a little bit more than 12 hours. It's here for a 2-week board and train. One of the things that it's here for is to learn off-leash recall. So let me show you first how we start on-leash recall, because we want to transition it. What we do is we layer our remote collars over existing behaviors. We don't use remote collars on a behavior that we've never trained the dog on. So this is how we're going to do it. We use the word here. Here is our recall. When I see the word here, I expect dogs to turn and come running to me. Gently trotting, even walking. But what I'm doing is I'm looking for them to come to me from point A to me as quick as possible, even with distractions. Now, right now I've got dogs in a play yard right next to me that are doing some high-level play. Destiny just came out of that play yard, so it should be really interesting to see what kind of reaction we get. I'm going to start her on a prong collar and just a basic 4-foot leash. I'm just looking for a dog's head to turn and come to me. If I can't get a dog to turn its head from 4 feet away, I'm not going to be able to get a dog from 40 feet or even 400 feet away. So whenever you see any of my dogs do incredible quick turns and come back to me, every dog I train starts just like this. I've trained thousands of dogs on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start walking. Destiny here. Good, 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 good. When I say the word here, I'm giving a gentle leash pressure, and I'm backing up and I'm praising. I'm looking for that quick response from the dog. I'm walking two towards the camera. Destiny here. Good, 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 good. Opening up my arms. When I'm doing recall training, I don't put dogs in sits and downs and call them to me. Why? That's probably never going to happen in your life. All my clients want off-leash recall outside, the beach, the woods, hiking trails, a park, even a dog park. How about your backyard? Your dog is not going to be sitting there waiting for you to call you. The dog is going to be probably running towards the street, running towards another dog, running towards the ball, towards you. Destiny, here. Good, 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 good. Okay. Destiny, here. Good, 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 good. Okay. Destiny, here. Good, 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 good. So. But what I want you to do is I want you to practice this on a long leash as well. 10-foot leash, 15-foot leash. What I'm looking for the dog to do, Destiny here, I'm looking for that. Good. Now, let's layer the remote collar on him, on her. I like Dogtra collars. I'm using the Dogtra 280. I can safely put this up to my neck to about 70. This goes from 0 to 127, just to give all of you out there an idea the levels we're doing at. So this goes from 0 to 127. I can safely put it to my neck without really flinching that much. You'll see my neck bulge at about 60 to 70. Okay, I'm not going to go over how to turn this on or all the features of the collar. For that, you can go to the Dogtra website and you can learn. So when I put the collar on, I want the box either here or here on the dog. I don't want the box here, so I want the box either here or here. And the first time I use it, I'm going to want it pretty snug. I want to make sure that I'm not getting any missed readings or the collar is moving around. I like my collars up nice and high. So when I'm first doing this, I'm barely able to fit one finger underneath. I want it nice and snug and I want it to stay there. Okay? I'm actually now going to switch the leash to the flat buckle collar. So the leash now is on the flat buckle collar. We can even take the prong collar off so people can better understand what I'm doing. The first thing I need to do is find something called the working level. The working level is the lowest setting that this dog feels. I'm not looking for the dog to jump up in the air, but I'm not also looking for the dog to just go like this. I'm looking for maybe every time I push the button for an eye blink, for a head twist, for a head tilt, something a little bit different than a normal behavior. I'm trying to find the working level. On the way I train remote collar training is I only use the continuous button. There's Nick and continuous. There's also vibrate on this model. I only use continuous. If I want it to be a short burst, I press it for a short time. If I want it to be a long burst, I'll hold it down longer. So I start down at 0. Hey, it's Jeff Gellman of Solid Canine Training. You know, remote collars get a really, really bad name, this concept that we're shocking dogs. You know, we're not shocking dogs. We're doing low-level remote collar training. So I love to use the Dogtra 280. I just did a demo with a dog on the Dogtra 280. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put this up to my neck. This is on and charged, and this is on and charged as well. I want people to understand that yes, there probably is some dog trainers out there that are shocking dogs, but there's also dog trainers out there doing a lot of things wrong with every tool. Flat nylon leashes, choke chains, prong collars, head halters, chest harnesses. I'm sure there's a dog trainer out there that's using newspaper rolled up inappropriately, using their hands and their feet inappropriately, but I want you to know there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of dog trainers out there doing things correctly. So using a remote collar, I understand the social stigma to it, but I'm here to tell you that we do low level. So I was working a dog on, I believe, anywhere from 15 to 20. I was working a dog. So I'm going to put this on my neck right now, and I'm going to start at a low level until I can feel it. So I'm just going to keep going up. Okay, so I'm at level 20. My working level is at 20, so I start feeling this at level 20. Now I'm going to start going up a little bit. So I'm at a 31 right now. If you look close, let me see if I can get my neck on this. I'm doing this on my own here. So you're probably going to start seeing pulsating. Okay. So it's a 50. Okay, I'm at 60 right now. I'm at level 60. So I can have this up to my neck at a level 60, okay? It goes from 0 to 127. I work dogs usually 20 and below. So let's bring that into, what's the word I'm looking for? So 20 and below, I'm at a 60. At 20, I'm feeling it tingly. Imagine your foot or your hand falling asleep, gently falling asleep, that little tingly for a minuscule second. So that's what we're doing it at, okay? So I just did this on my neck at 60. Yes, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Yes, you can see my neck throbbing a little bit. Okay, I just did that up at a 70. Okay, so I'm up at 70. Now I know nobody's here. You know, I can't really, I'll do this with you in person too if you want to meet me somewhere. But that's not the point. The point is that I'm using the tools on myself that I also use on the dogs. It's not mean. It is not abusive at all. So I just did this at a 70. I was working a dog today that I was down at 8. I didn't feel this until 20. So I want people to know that using a remote collar is not mean or abusive. I'm putting it on myself. I'm working at the same levels, but I'm working at 3 times the level. I just had this on my neck at 70, which is over 3 times the level that I would work a dog. Jeff Gellman, Solid Canine Training, remote collar training from Dogtra, extremely humane, extremely effective, for the real world. So we actually just put we just took a quick break, so you'll see some editing. I just put all the other dogs away because it was hard to get a working level on the dog, which is not fair to the dog at all. So now we're going to do this. It is our first time doing remote collar training with this dog. We're going to do this without any other dog distractions. So I'm going to try to find the working level of the dog. So I'm at 20 right now. So 20, what I got was I got some blinking that corresponded to me pushing the button, and I got a little ear tilt. That means I know the dog is recognizing the feeling. Remember, we're not shocking our dogs. I'm replicating, the way I train remote collars is I'm replicating this is pressure on the leash, pressure off the leash. Pressure on, pressure off. It's a remote pressure device though. Pressure on, pressure off. Okay? So now we're going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to do my best not to actually pull the leash. I'm going to use the leash just as a guide. So it's going to be, again, name of dog and then here. So I'm going to say, Destiny, here. Good. Okay. Destiny, here. Good. Okay. So when do I push the button and when do I let go of the button? I say the name of the dog, Destiny. Then I say the word here. When I say the word here, my finger goes down on the button. As soon as the dog spins around and makes eye contact with me, I release the button and I kick in the praise. Okay, so button on with here, button off with contact, praise on, I back up. All right, so let's do that again. Destiny, here. Good. So with this dog, my finger is on this button for literally a split second, and I know what the dog is feeling. I'm at a level 20. So again, I'm using the leash just as a guide. Destiny, here. Good. Walk back towards you. Destiny, here. Good. Okay. Now I'm going to see if I can create some distance with the dog. We might not. When you first start doing remote collar training, a lot of times the dog will stick to you. Not because it's afraid of getting shocked, because why? We're not shocking the dog. It's because it's starting to understand, hey, I'm supposed to hang out with this human. This is the only time I ever approve of flexi leashes is during off-leash recall training. So let me see if I can get a little bit of, in fact, it even has a little thing saying recall only on it. So let's see if we can get some distance now. Okay. Here. Good. Okay. Maybe I'll just start walking around a little bit. Here. Good. Little head shake. So when I get a head shake, it tells me the dog is definitely feeling it, which is good. I want the dog to feel it. Because there is going to be a point where we might have to dial up. Dial up is this. Dog already knows how to come back to you. It's deciding not to come back to you. Say it's sniffing poop. It's sniffing where a dog peed. It's playing with another dog. It's totally blowing you off. Right now, it would not be very nice to dial up. The dog's not familiar with the tools yet. Once a dog is off-leash trained, in my book, meaning it comes back 100% of the time with no leash attached, it's deciding not to come back at that moment, you have to dial up. Why? We're talking about a safety issue. We're talking about life and death of a dog here, and I take that training really, really seriously. Here. Good. Here. Good. So this is going really, really well. I can't even create any distance. Let me see what would happen if we took the dog totally off leash now. For most dogs, this might be too soon. For this dog, it might be too soon. But why not just learn together? So, here. Good. There we go. Okay. Here. Good. There we go. Here. Good. There we go. Okay. So I'm pushing it every single time. A lot of times at the beginning of remote collar training, some folks, even when the dog's coming to them, they don't want to push the button. Remember, we're not punishing the dog. We're not correcting the dog. I'm using this as a motivational tool. Low-level remote collar training I use as a motivational tool, just like anything else that you can use to motivate the dog. I understand folks out there are like, so shocking the dog is motivating? Again, no it's not, but then again, we're not shocking the dog. If you've ever had physical therapy with a TENS unit, okay, a transepidural neurological stimulator, a TENS unit, it's the pad that you put on and it gives a gentle tingling to the muscles. That's all remote collar training is. It is just a communication between myself and the dog. The great thing is I can communicate a half a mile away with this model. Some models you can do up to a mile away. I can't understand why anyone wouldn't want to do this type of training. It's extremely rewarding. We can trust our dogs. Just this morning I was at the beach with 5 dogs and it's 20 degrees outside. It was wonderful. So we're not getting any distance out of this. I'm not going to add another dog as a distraction right now. That would be with my next video. But I want people to know that, believe it or not, this could happen this quick. Families do not need to struggle with recall. So many families out there are struggling with the basics, even walking a dog on a leash. And if you see my other videos, it only takes 5 minutes to train a dog to walk on a leash. Remote collar training, getting a dog to have 100% recall. It doesn't take weeks or months or years. I could trust this dog. This dog is going to be with me for 2 weeks. At the 1 week mark, I feel that knowing I'm getting this kind of reaction out of this dog, I will actually take this dog to the beach. After 1 week of training, off leash. How many families out there struggle? They'll never let their dogs off leash. I'm looking for 100% I'm a big advocate of remote collar training. I talk about it on my radio show constantly. I don't understand why anyone wouldn't want 100% guaranteed high-level distraction off-leash training. Okay? Again, I'm a huge advocate of Dogtra. The great thing about the Dogtra collars are what? We can plug them in just like a cell phone. I always know what level I'm at. I know that this is charged. I know that's charged. Since I do a lot of work in the water, these are submergible, waterproof, so they're wonderful, wonderful tools. That's what the stuff is. Number 1, name of dog, hear command, leash pressure, get the dog to spin around, come to you, back up. If you're using a 5-foot leash, back up another 5 feet and then you get a 10-foot recall. Do that dozens of times, hundreds of times if you want to. The goal is when you say name of dog and hear, the dog turns its head. Step 2, put the remote collar on the dog. Find your working level. Start at 0, work your way up by 1s or 2s. Look for this. Eye blinks when you're hitting the button. Then, using the leash as a guide, have the dog go away from you. Again, name of dog, here. When you say here, push your button down. When the dog spins around, release your button. The dog like this, we've been doing this for like 1 second. Over and over and over again. Then if you want to have your leash drag, you can have your leash drag, call your dog back. I felt pretty strongly with this dog that it was going to come back right away. Remove the leash. Walk forward. Your dog's there. Here, name of dog. Here, back up. Dog comes to you. It could be that simple. Now, I won't take this dog off property until we proof it. How am I going to proof it? I'm going to have other dogs in the play yard. I'll do my next video with this dog, proofing the dog. What we'll do is we'll probably have this dog in a play situation. So simulating a dog park. It's playing with its buddies and I call it off. If I can call this dog off of play, I got a good feeling that I can take it off the property. Jeff Gelman, Solid Canine Training, real world training, real results for real families in the real world. Hi, it's Jeff Gelman of Solid Canine Training. I've been getting a lot of requests on how to start your dog on remote collar training. Remote collar training, we do low-level remote collar training. We're not shocking dogs to get them to listen to us. Maybe somebody is out there. We don't do that at all. The way we train on remote collars, we can guarantee 100% recall. Off-leash, high levels of distraction. This is a dog that's never had a remote collar on. This dog came into my kennel actually last night at 9 p.m. So it's been here for a little bit more than 12 hours. It's here for a 2-week board and train. One of the things that it's here for is to learn off-leash recall. So let me show you first how we start on-leash recall, because we want to transition it. What we do is we layer our remote collars over existing behaviors. We don't use remote collars on a behavior that we've never trained the dog on. So this is how we're going to do it. We use the word here. Here is our recall. When I see the word here, I expect dogs to turn and come running to me. Gently trotting, even walking. But what I'm doing is I'm looking for them to come to me from point A to me as quick as possible, even with distractions. Now, right now I've got dogs in a play yard right next to me that are doing some high-level play. Destiny just came out of that play yard, so it should be really interesting to see what kind of reaction we get. I'm going to start her on a prong collar and just a basic 4-foot leash. I'm just looking for a dog's head to turn and come to me. If I can't get a dog to turn its head from 4 feet away, I'm not going to be able to get a dog from 40 feet or even 400 feet away. So whenever you see any of my dogs do incredible quick turns and come back to me, every dog I train starts just like this. I've trained thousands of dogs on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start walking.